I do want to start by talking a little bit about healthcare reform. It is the law of the land. Supreme Court validated that in June of this year, and the election put it in concrete. So that is done. We now are going to be covered, all of us, under healthcare reform starting January of 14. That's when it all goes into its full force. And so what that looks like, again, still some questions to be answered, but to Smitty's point, we know premiums are going to go up. There's a normal trend, and I will just tell you the trend line runs about 10 to 12% a year. If you think about that, if something's going up at 10 to 12% a year, that's just the trend in healthcare costs. So there's a little investment rule called the Rule of 72. Don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but it's a nifty little investment tool. It simply says this: if I have $1 in the bank, I can take the interest rate I'm getting on that dollar, I divide it into 72, and it tells me how many years at that interest rate it's going to take for that dollar to double to $2. So if you're getting 1% interest on your money, it will take 72 years for that dollar to double to $2. If you're getting 4%, it's going to take 18 years. If you're getting 9%, 8 years, 12%, 6 years, etc., etc. That's the Rule of 72. Kind of a nice thing to at least know about. The downside is if you have an item that you can buy that is inflating in price, the Rule of 72 works for that item as well. So if you have an item that is inflating at 10% a year, the price of that item will double every 7.2 years. If your item is inflating at 12%, the cost of that item will double every 6 years. That means it will quadruple in 12 years. So think about that. I mean, this is a young group. That's the thing. With you guys, first of all, it's a...
So, I mean, I think what we need to do is take a look at how we're handling that whole process, and we'll look at that.
12 years to me is a long time.
What I do need from you today, though, if you could, is send me a list of the safety personnel on site, and just a quick email, and the number of people, and the expected number of people, so that I can analyze that, and I'll look at what we're spending budget-wise right now. And I don't mind adding a person or two out there to help, but I just want to see what the numbers look like right now.
Okay? Everything in that bill is so starting in 2014, everybody in the country will have access to health insurance, irrespective of age, irrespective of income, irrespective of their health. They will be able to get insurance starting in January 14. But there's nothing in there that addresses the fact that the costs continue to go up.
Well, get to me what you've got as far as, just send me a list. We're going to do an orchard. Just send me a list of exactly what we got for safety personnel.
So to Smith's point, one of the things that you guys can impact are the claims that you have in this group.
That way I can
If one of your kids falls out of a tree and breaks their arm, it is what it is.
That way I can
Take
pull
them to the emergency room, they do surgery or set it or whatever it is, and you have to do what you have to do. If somebody gets cancer,
but I don't think
I
just
get
throwing people
cancer,
out here
I'm looking for the finest treatment I can find, for sure. And all of you would do the same thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about things that we can do to impact some of the basic costs. For example, and on the laminates that you have, the reason we give them to you is so you can shop for health care.
Which one of them is the right?
My wife needed to get an MRI on her shoulder. She went into the doctor's office. Doctor says, Linda, you need to get an MRI on your left shoulder. She said, okay, fine. So the doctor writes a script for her and hands it to her and says, if you'll go down the hall here, at the end of the hall you'll see Gladys, talk to Gladys, she'll set up the MRI for you. So what did my wife do? She goes down to the hall,
I will
Hands the
caution
script to
you
Gladys.
on
Gladys
this,
says, "Do I see you need
Maybe.
an MRI?" She picks up the phone, speed dial 1 to Hilda and says, "Hi, Hilda need an MRI."
Yeah.
Mrs. Martin.
Some of you that are listening tonight,
So that's something we can work on
She
next
says,
week.
"Is minus 30
will
good
work
for you?" Yes, 30 is
But
fine.
for right now, let's just get it resolved whether or not we
and
really got
those
room
of you who know
for
me going
My wife walks out.
back a few years, know that a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about tonight, I've talked about for.
Nobody talked about weight loss.
There's a reason for that.
Thank you, sir.
That is that
Gladys
the
doesn't.
principles
I can tell you Mrs. Martin knows what
we're
weight loss
attempting to
because
get
Mr.
to.
Martin's paying.
Well, at the end of the day, guys,
She
they're
couldn't care
titles.
less.
They
That's
don't
my problem.
change.
But since it is my problem, I picked up the phone and she came back and said she had an appointment scheduled at Memorial Hospital in Colorado
To
Springs.
accomplish some of
For the following Thursday, I picked up the phone and I called one of the freestanding facilities that was on my
that we
line.
look back at now and we say, how in the
I said,
world
"Hi,
could they have ever
my wife needs to get an MRI on her shoulder. I've got a deductible. I'm going to be paying for that MRI. I need to know what you're going to charge after the discount with our insurance, which at the
The
time
reality
was
of it is they weren't.
She said just a minute, she put me on hold. She came back 3 or 4 minutes later and she said, "That's going to be $365.
And by doing that,
Okay?
things happen that.
I picked up the phone, called another
There's no way.
freestanding facility that was on the limit. Said, "Hi, my wife needs to get an MRI on her shoulder. I've got a deductible plan. I'm going to be paying for that MRI. I need to know what you're going to charge after the discount with our insurance," which is with that. She said, "Just a minute, we'll go home." Came back 4 minutes later. She said, "That's going to be $575."
3 days over 1 year.
Okay. That sounds like competition to me.
Nothing in the ground.
But my wife already had an appointment at Memorial Hospital, so I picked up the phone and said, "Hi, my wife has an appointment with you, get an MRI done next Thursday.
And that was at a
I've got a
time
high
when
deductible plan, so I'm going to be paying for that thing, so I need to know what you're going to charge us the discount with our insurance, which is with Aetna." She said, "Just a minute, put me on hold," came back and she said, "That's going to be
They had
$1,440.
all of the same problems.
She said, "Now that doesn't include the radiologist fee to read it."
Every single same problem.
I picked up the phone and said, "Hi, I spoke with you about 15 minutes ago about an MRI on my wife's shoulder. You quoted me a price of $365. Did that include the radiologist fee to read it?" Yes, it did.
You've ever faced in your career.
So what I would have done, had my wife gone to Memorial Hospital, had her MRI, I would have gotten 2 bills, one from the radiologist, one from the hospital. Total would have been around $3,000, discounted down to probably $1,700 because of the network discount. I think I've saved $1,300. I've got no idea. I've just been hosed to the tune of about
The Empire
$1,400.
State Building started off.
You see, it doesn't occur to us that there's that kind of pricing difference. You guys can't go out and bid a job 40% more than the competition and get it, right? I mean, you might get one. I don't know how you get it, but you might get one. You're not going to make a living bidding 40% above your competition. If you own a gas station, you're not going to sell gas at $8 a gallon when the guy across the street is selling it for $3.65. Unless you've got some great services you're providing on top of that gas. Right? Why would you pay $8 when you can pay $3.65 for the same gas? But in healthcare, it happens all the
Back,
time.
did you try to
You go to the hospital, you're going to pay 3 to 4 times as much to get that same thing done at a hospital that you can have done at a freestanding lab
Let's try that.
or freestanding MRI or X-ray
Yep, that was
facility.
it. All right. Yeah, sorry about that.
The doctor doesn't
so anyway,
care
Empire State
where
Building
you
started
go.
off.
The doctor's writing the script for that MRI, or that ultrasound, or that CAT scan, or that X-ray, because they want you to get it. They want to get a reading on your shoulder, or your knee, or your back, or whatever it is.
It was amazing. But they still
They don't care
overcame
where you get it. They're just writing the script where they write it for everybody to get that
The way
MRI.
they did it was they simply.
They're not paying for it, and they assume, I had this happen to me about 6 years ago, I need to get an ultrasound. Doctor said, I came back to him, I did the shopping because I have a high deductible plan. My wife and I had a $6,000 deductible, period. I was the first $6,000 for my wife and I.
They just pre-planned.
I get an ultrasound, I'm shocked, believe me, because I know I'm paying.
Because it's the root of the whole process.
And I shopped around and I went back to my doctor and I reported to him. I said, I called around and it was this and it was this. And he said, wow, that's great, you saved a lot of money. But most of my patients have insurance to pay.
Where you're working at or what kind of work it is. This principle
You
applies
don't get
to
it.
every single one. And that
He didn't
is
get
what
it.
we call
He didn't understand. He thought, well, insurance is paying. It's like saying, well, the government's paying for it. It doesn't cost us anything.
TIM stands for simply
He's
those
nuts.
tools, information.
It's coming back to you and I in the form of more premium. Insurance companies are nothing but a conduit.
Everybody in this room.
You guys understand that process? That's all they are is a conduit. They take the money from you and I, and
You
they
cannot
charge a little fees or whatever, and they pay out the hospitals and the doctors and the labs and everybody else.
You have 100%
And if those guys want more money, guess what they do?
tools
They come back to you and say, I need more money, so I can pay
and
these guys.
materials.
I'm still going to have my administrative. I'm going to take my little piece of it. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to raise your premiums to pay over here.
You can't complete 100%.
And the more you guys can be
It's just
engaged
that
in thinking about costs,
If you're doing makeup on a box, on something
the
that's,
more we can control your
and you need
premiums
4
and your
wire
costs.
nuts to do the makeup, if you only have 3, you can't complete.
My doctor, again, I've been on a
And you
$6,000
can say,
deductible
as a
for the last
supervisor, well, he had almost everything he needed.
I'm sure you can
That's
understand that
wonderful. He
this
also
has made
got
me quite
almost
a consumer of healthcare. Not
You
just a
just
user of
can't
healthcare,
get there
consumer.
unless you
So
have.
my doctor said, hey, George, your cholesterol is high, so I'm going to put you on Lipitor.
Our job
Okay, fine,
as
what do I know?
supervisors
So he writes a script for 10 milligrams of Lipitor.
is to provide the crews that.
I go and pick that up. 10 milligrams, the smallest pill they make, is $110 a
The
month.
tools, the information, and the
My
materials
110.
that
I don't
they
go
need.
okay. I'm paying the whole 110.
And here's probably
So,
the most valuable.
After about a year and a half of that, I said, hey, Doc, can I pill
As a
split this?
supervisor that will help you be.
He said, yeah, if you want to. I said, yeah, I think I do.
When you're running a project.
So he wrote a script for 20 milligrams. I cut that in half the other night. And 20 milligrams costs $120 a month.
running
My cost just went from 110 to
searching
60
for a
bucks.
tool
Right?
or
Cut it
asking
in
a
half.
question.
Year and a half later, I said, hey, Doc, is there a generic for Lipitor? He said, no. But there is a generic
You,
for Zocor. It's called
as a
Simvastatin,
supervisor,
but it's not as strong as
have
Lipitor.
faith.
I said, well, how about if we write it for 40 milligrams of Simvastatin? I'll cut that in half every other night, and let's see if that works. He said, you can do that.
Every
Well, I
time
said,
your
"Okay."
crew has to go find materials,
For the last
find tools,
4 or 5 years,
find information.
I have gotten a
As
90-day
a
supply
supervisor, you
of
have
40 milligrams of Simvastatin at Sam's Club or
That's
Costco.
your job. Is
It
to
lasts
get
me for
them
180
all of the
days,
tools
because I cut
they
it in
need,
half every other night.
all of the information
And it
they
cost me
need,
$12.
and all of the materials.
My cost has gone from 110
Now,
to
historically,
60 to $2 a month.
companies that are good at this,
Neither of those ideas were my doctor's, because he's not paying for it.
they get to.
See, if I'm not complaining
on
because it's
average,
hurting me, or it's not effective, it's not working for me, or because it costs too much, he's just going to
They
keep
get
filling
their
the
tools
script.
about 70 to 80%.
He doesn't care if I take
of the
broccoli
tools,
extract
information,
to
and
get my
materials.
cholesterol down. All he wants is my numbers to go down.
However,
And the
we
doctor's
still
attitude is,
get
hey, if you're not going to exercise or lose weight, I'm going to put you on
I can
meds.
get them finished. If we're only giving the crews
Okay.
70 to 80%.
And here's the
tools
script
and
for you.
information, materials
That's why
they
we
need,
put in your
how we
packet
get
the
them
Walmart drug list. Over 400 drugs that are $4.
finished. Look.
So your doctor's got you on something that's $70, $60, whatever, it's a copay. That copay never stops.
Who's filling in the
Why
other
wouldn't you hand the drug list,
20%?
say, hey, Doc, is there something on this list that we can start
Crews,
with?
right?
Because it's only going to cost me $4.
You as a supervisor don't
Instead
give your
of 10
crews
or 20 or
100%
40
of
or
the
$80.
tools, the information, and the material that they need to
Can we
run
start with something, see if
but
it
they
works?
still get it
Hey, if it
done.
doesn't work, I'll move up
Who
to the next
filled in
one.
the other 20%?
But doctors
If you
don't
did-
do that. They just sign you up for some script that's the latest and greatest. Sometimes these new drugs, they've gone
Now,
through
there's another piece to this puzzle that
federal
you need to
FDA
understand.
approval and testing and
And
all
that
this stuff.
is,
Sometimes they
every
still don't
single
work.
person
I don't know if any of you are familiar
when
with
they walk onto the
a
job
drug
site,
called Vioxx.
starting at start time, whatever that is, let's say 7 a.m.
Anti-inflammatory.
Every single person
It had
starting at 7
been,
a.m.
all the testing, everything like that.
Until
All of a sudden, they
3:30
found out people
p.m.
were dying taking biopsies.
with the exception of a half hour
So when
for
they're
lunch,
doing it, the testing in
is
small
getting
numbers,
paid while they're on
no
that job
problem.
site. We all agree with that?
Hundreds of thousands of people started taking it, all of a sudden,
We don't have any forced labor out there,
not by the droves,
and I'm pretty sure no one's donating time.
maybe it's a 1 hour.
When they hit that job site 7 a.m. up until 3:30 p.m.,
Well, I don't know, if I've got another
They're
choice of a pill, I think I'll go
getting
with
paid.
that.
That
Or there's a zero
pay
chance I'm gonna die.
is a cost to the company. It's a cost to the
So,
project.
the
It's a
point
cost
is,
to
there
the
are
job.
plenty of
That's
things
okay.
that we can take, we can do.
To be honest, we're not
try
all
to
that
keep
concerned
costs down.
about
The
the
other
fact
thing
that
to keep in
employees are
mind is
getting
this
paid.
plan, under the
We're not all
healthcare
that
reform
concerned
bill,
actually how much
preventive care
employees are
is
getting
covered.
paid. As
If you
long
go in for a
as
checkup,
the amount they're
preventive
getting
checkup is
paid
age appropriate.
is at
So,
least
I mean, some of you are
equal
really,
to
you're somewhere
the amount
okay.
that they're producing.
For most people, I mean, most
Yeah,
guys
they're
especially.
As long as we're doing that, it's okay. But here's what you need to understand, when it comes to that cost,
But to go in and get a
what I want you to
baseline
start doing
check
as
on your doctor and
supervisors
say,
is I want you to stop
HDL is
thinking
this,
in terms of man-hours.
LDL is this, your total cholesterol is this, your triglycerides is this, your blood
You
sugar
should
is
start
this,
thinking in
your blood
terms
pressure is this.
of
Now we have a
man
baseline that says, okay, when I was 27 years old, these were
The
my
reason
numbers.
for that is this.
And now
Once you
5
add
years and 10 years
in
down the
all
road,
of
you get them
the
tested
extra
again,
things
and they
that
say,
the
wow,
company has to pay for,
your blood sugar,
For
you're
our manpower.
122.
we have to pay your paycheck, obviously, whatever that amount of money is, whatever you're earning, we have to pay that.
You're still young.
But in addition to that, we
And
also
not
have, they
overweight.
talked
There's something
earlier
going
about
on in
Social
you
Security.
that you ought to know about.
What a
But
lot
if
of
you've
people
never
don't
had it
realize is
tested,
that Social Security
and
is
you
a
have no
magic
idea
number.
what your number
For
is,
example, if the company takes $25
and you don't have
out of the
anything
check
to base
for
it on.
Security,
So
they have to
I
send in
encourage you to go
my
in and find out what your
$25,
numbers are.
and the company
Get a
has to
complete
match
physical,
that
get a
and
check.
send
There
it
isn't a
also.
lot more to say other than with healthcare reform.
And so there's a cost
There
to
are
the
taxes,
company
part of why the
for that
premiums
cost,
are going
because
up.
we have to pay
Taxes
it
are
too also,
gonna be
not
added
just
to
what
all
we're
the
taking out of your check,
Now
we have to
everybody's
match
getting
what you're
insurance,
talking
irrespective
about.
of health.
We also have insurance costs we have to cover, we have workers' compensation costs we have to cover.
Ratcheting
We
effect
have-
because of that.
There's just all kinds of costs, I'm not gonna spend the time to enumerate them all, but here's what it boils down to.
The challenge for Eli.
It's rounded off, but it's simply rounded off to help make it easier to keep track of. But on the average, it costs us about $60 an hour to put a man on the job site. When you add in our overhead, and our burdens, and our labor rates, and everything else,
Exceed a
it's
certain
about $60
threshold.
an hour.
So if the
it's
premium for
constant.
your plan goes.
So what that
over
means
the
is,
tax
for
threshold,
every minute
Eli will have to pay
that a person is on the
40%
job site,
penalty to the government.
it is costing the company
Above that.
$1. Every
Keeping that in mind, if that's the case, is in Eli's best interest and.
So think about this for a minute.
Best interest.
7 a.m.
The date that happens.
It's time to start working. We have to go through certain activities. We got a stretch and flex we got to go through. We got to go through a morning briefing. There's certain things that we have to do. Right?
60% cost.
So let's just say that takes 15 minutes. That's okay. We have that built into the overall cost of the job. We understand every job we have to go through this
So what
process.
businesses are going to do, I don't care where you
But then after that 15 minutes is over,
businesses are going to, it's an ironic
I just
part
want you to
of
think about it for a minute.
businesses
How long
will
is
be
it?
forced to make their plans
From
as
7 to
bad
15.
as possible.
At what time in the morning
Well, they
is
can cancel them all
everybody
day, but if they
in
want
their
to keep a good
workstation
plan in place, they will
actually
literally be forced
producing?
to make the plan worse
How long does it
and
take
worse and worse.
to get everybody to grab their tools, grab their materials, get to their workstation, get the information that they need, figure out what they're doing, get organized, whatever it takes.
So
How
everybody
much
gets
time goes by
Sounds
until
terrific.
we're all out there
But now,
actually
the business is being told, if you do that, if you provide a really good plan for your employees,
20 to 30 minutes maybe?
Client the other day,
40 minutes?
one of their employees, her husband, works at Kraft Foods.
You got 100 guys on a job site? That's a lot of money every single
She said
day.
her husband was just notified by
That's
Kraft
just
Foods that
law.
since, that if your
Slow
spouse
recovery.
is eligible for
Try
that,
building a customer
he or she works,
Just live with it.
you will pay a surcharge to
We
cover.
don't have that built into our bids.
Forcing people off the plane.
Can't.
Forcing the spouses, so.
You say, hey, Smitty, we know what happens at every job site.
Your
Why don't we
spouse,
build it
you're
into the
covered
bid?
under your spouse's.
If we tried to cover that
Your
cost of the
spouse
bid, guess what?
ultimately, very
You wouldn't get any
possible,
more bids.
will get some notice down the road saying,
But that's where the
we're not even going
supervisors
to allow you to cover
Supervisors
your
come in
spouse
and
under
understand
our plan if they are eligible for
point
benefits.
that it's our job to figure out
There's going to be a mix of how companies address this issue.
to
But the
shave
thing that we
every
all
minute
know,
off
there's
of
going
that
to be
time.
large increases in premiums, and so every company.
How
in
can I get
country
the
right now
materials
is actively
closer to where the
figuring
crews
out
are going to be?
How are we going to manage that?
How can I get everything they need, bundled, packaged,
Olive branch,
sorted,
red lobsters, and a host of other branches.
right as close as I
They
possibly
just
can?
announced a couple of months ago.
How can I get all of the information that they need in order to make that installation the way I
Part-time
plan?
under the laws defined as.
So they don't have to ask questions, they don't have to sit there and go, I'm not sure what we mean by this. Let me stop and figure this out, try to figure out how to build this.
Penalty.
How do I do those things to shave every minute I can? Because for every man that you shave 1 minute of that time
From
off,
full-time to part-time.
you
They're
save
gonna get basically
$1 on
25
the
to 30%
cost.
pay cut, right?
On the cost.
40 hours to 28 or 27 hours. Going from full-time
Every
to part-time.
single man.
So the garden does not have to pay the penalty.
And that can be something as simple as if you're on a solar project, for example, and we were out of Desert Sunlight, one of the things we were struggling with at first is we're on a
They're
huge
gonna call up
solar
a Jimmy
site,
John's.
spread out
Or
all
call up
over the
some
place,
other
there's everywhere.
restaurant.
And one of the things we kept
Organization
talking
say,
about,
we're gonna cut out
we
40
actually
hours
spent a
down
lot
by
of time
20,
thinking
25.
about and
I hear
planning
you're doing the
how
same
we get the
thing.
break areas closer to the crews. So I got 150 guys on that job site, and all 150 of those
Do
guys
part-time
got
jobs,
to
right.
spend
Creative
5
thinking.
minutes
Exactly right, very
walking
creative.
to a break area and 5 minutes
See, I don't
walking
mind
back to
limiting
the
your
break
health
area.
care.
How much time am I, how many
I
dollars
really
am
don't, I'm
I
okay with that.
pissing
I
away
just don't wanna limit
every
mine,
single day?
or my wife's, or my kids.
Yeah, that's not including break.
And I'm gonna bet it.
The break time, I don't have any choice. I gotta give them breaks.
So you
I got
can
that
try
built
to
into the
do
bid.
somebody else do this.
I don't have 5 minutes there and 5 minutes back built into the
What do you
bid.
have to do? Whatever it
I'm
takes.
losing money. I gotta
Money's
find
no
ways to get
option.
that break area
Something
where?
I love.
To them, so they don't have to spend 5 minutes getting there and 5 minutes getting back.
So I
But
don't
you
know
know
how
what?
we
It's no
proceed.
different
I'm not
on the
saying that
construction
I have
side
answers.
than it is on that
This
solar
is
side.
a real challenge.
You're building a 10-story building, you got a guy working on the 10th floor,
I'm
and
on the
break
front
time,
end
he
of
goes
the
all the way down
I'm heading into
to the
that.
first floor, across the street to the gut truck, back, and then all the way back up,
We're living longer. Which is
and
bad
still
news,
thinks he's entitled to a 15-minute break on top of
right?
it.
I mean, truly it is. We're living longer, so we will survive more and more and more things.
Dollars.
And we will need more and more health care.
I think the big point is that there are no
That's
easy
the other
answers.
thing that I hear all the time when we talk
But
about
what
this.
we do understand is there's going to be increased costs.
Pre-planning is easy on a job like a solar project.
They're going to force
Hey, it's the same
businesses not to
thing.
be like, we're
Over
going to
and
force businesses to make changes.
Here's what I
What
want
we're
you to
asking
think about.
of you guys, and the reason
Every
why
task
this
that you've
helps
ever
is
worked
we're
on
having this class.
in your career.
What we're asking from
Pick
you
one, I
guys,
don't
not
care
only
which
for
one
the
it
sake
is,
of the
make sure
company,
you
but
do it.
from your personal, for your own
When you
sake,
walked
and
up to do
selfish
that task,
is to
whatever it was, no matter what kind of project it was, when you walked up to do that
shop
task,
around, to manage your healthcare costs.
did the material magically appear?
Everything we can do, every
before?
dime that we can save towards what our insurance company has to pay out, goes towards
How did you get the material?
keep down that increase. Now,
I can't think of anything else, Nick. Thank you guys for your time. I really appreciate
My
it.
pallet, where did the pallet come from? Why did they deliver it?
A mile to go get it.
So you didn't have to walk a mile, but how did the pallet get there? Somebody ordered the material. If somebody ordered the material, how did they order that material? They planned it, right? Somebody sat down and planned how we're going to build and how we're going to do every single thing you've ever done in your life in this industry. Because they got the material there. Material doesn't just materialize. Somebody ordered it and got it delivered to the site. That means, by nature, someone planned it. Otherwise, it couldn't have been ordered. Because I don't care how good Gexpro is, or Graybar, or anybody else, they don't deliver material in 15 minutes. You can't do a will call that fast. Somebody had to have planned it. So the real issue is not, this doesn't apply to construction projects, it only applies to repetitive projects and that kind of stuff. That's not true. We plan every project that we do. Somebody did. Otherwise the material wouldn't be there. Here's what the difference is. Some jobs are very good about communicating the plan to the crews. Some projects aren't. Some projects communicate that plan. Some projects don't. And if you don't communicate the plan, what does the crew do? They plan it again. That's all they're going to do. Somebody already planned it. You don't communicate that plan to the crew, they're going to replan it again. Then they just did it bushes. Replan it again. They're going to plan it. Here's what I want you to understand. You might want to write this down. Those minutes that are costing us $1 a minute, those minutes, you can break them down into 3 categories. Every minute on a job site that every person is spending can be broken down into 3 categories. You can call it productive time, preparation time, and lost time. Productive time, preparation time, and lost time. Let me just kind of explain to you before we start discussing this what those 3 things are. Productive time. Productive time is time spent physically producing the product. It's time spent screwing boxes onto studs, pulling MC cable through holes, doing makeup, running conduit, burying cable. It's physically producing something. Productive time also includes material handling, however, only twice per piece of material. And one of those times is taking it off the truck. When the truck arrives, somebody picks up that material and takes it off the truck and sets it somewhere. That's once we've handled that material. The way the bins are built, we get to handle it one more time. That's to pick it up from wherever we laid it down and take it to where we're going to install it. If we touch it any other times in between there, that doesn't count as productive time. And the reason for this is the way the bids are written, the way things are estimated, they'll take 100 feet of conduit, they'll put it into the estimating system. The estimating system says, based on these work conditions, it should require X number of man hours to install that 100 feet of conduit. And built into that is the time that it would normally take to handle that material twice. So we're compensated for it. That's productive time. Does that make sense? Preparation time. Preparation time is time spent planning. Somebody's got to sit down and read the blueprints, get the questions, get the answers, figure out what we got to do. It's time spent ordering material. Preparation time is also time spent doing